Top of the afternoon to everybody. Tate's Take, where basketball lives, returns. Yes, the most entertaining, the most educational, the most informational basketball podcast on the planet in the form of a podcast, I guess. Basketball content in the form of a podcast. And awesome show that's lined up. You guys know I usually try to make sure I'm putting out a pretty productive product that people can kind of take some things away from. You can learn. There's not really a whole lot of bias going on this podcast. If you're new to it, thank you so much for just for joining us. I got my boy Mike Dyson coming on, special guest. We know he typically from time to time periodically drops by and give us a little bit about what's on his mind and our special segment called Roll the Dice. So we're going to pretty much be previewing everything from the NBA playoffs. It's that time of the year. When I start thinking about it, it's so crazy to imagine the fact that we were talking about how we may not even have basketball come back and resume and basketball come back around this year. And I'm just super excited. I'm stoked. I know that you guys are really, really happy about it as well. And I'm just really looking forward to it. Anybody that knows me, unless you've been living under a rock or clearly you don't know me very well, if you don't know that, huge basketball fan and just try to push out some knowledge and some passion throughout my podcast. And so, we're obviously going to preview the Eastern Conference every game for the first round, or at least every series rather, for the first round between the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, in addition to who are some of the players that have kind of stuck out to you throughout the bubble. And I'm looking to hear from some of you guys to see what's on your minds, to kind of see what you guys really like and what teams you guys like, what players you guys like that are in the bubble right now. Because you know what? I tell you, I've been seeing so much, and I know that I'm hearing about the Damian Lillard being the MVP of the bubble, and I'm not so sure that he is that. There's some other people that are, obviously having some really good performances throughout. I was talking to some people about Luka Doncic, for example. I mean, dude is darn near averaging a triple-double in the bubble, let alone on the season, and not even being considered an MVP candidate. I'm going to pick Dice's brain about that a little bit because Devin Booker did very well. Him and his team went unbeaten with 8-0 or 9-0 in the bubble as well. And then there's been some breakout players. You have had some Michael Porter Jr.'s who's had a really, really good, put together a huge string of games. You also had Gary Trent Jr. for Portland, and everybody's looking at it like, oh, well, Damian Lillard's the only player on that team or the we know that he's the big shot taker. We know that he's the elephant in the room. He knows that, he is essentially the key to make this thing drive. He is the steering wheel that dictates everything on the floor that happens. And so I do understand that, but they have a really good team in front of them as well. And I'll be really interested to see this particular matchup that they have with the Los Angeles Lakers, because the Los Angeles Lakers are really big. I mean, you're talking about, Anthony Davis in the front court and JaVale McGee. There's a reason why the Los Angeles Lakers is the number one team it leads the NBA in blocks in that particular category. That's for a reason. Outside of those two guys, you do have other guys as well with a significant amount of size on them. One of them being Dwight Howard coming off the bench with those big, broad, and bulky shoulders, trying to dominate the paint, especially on the defensive end. Kyle Kuzma's not a small guy. He can play the three position, maybe not so much the two, but I think situational, Kyle Kuzma can play the two position if they want to really, really go with a huge lineup in some instances, especially considering the fact that he could be a threat from the outside as well. And then LeBron James, the guy who stirs the drink for his particular team. He's not a small guy. He's 6'9". So, just looking at it overall, it almost kind of out to seem like what kind of advantage could Portland even have? I'm going to get into some of that when Mike Dyson comes on. And like I said, I'm super excited. We're going to go through every single particular matchup and every single particular matchup and series within this playoffs and kind of see how some people felt about, the Memphis Grizzlies. Obviously, there's a new coach that's going to be on the rise for the New Orleans Pelicans. Alvin Gentry's not the coach there. Who is the front runner? Who should be the front runner? There's a few names that have been tossed around. We heard about Jason Kidd even being a name. That Tyronn Lue is another one. I mean, there are some guys that have head coaching experience. You know, when you're talking about a Milwaukee Bucks team, for example, out of the East, okay, before Mike Budenholzer, the former coach of the Atlanta Hawks, now with the Milwaukee Bucks, was put in that position, you have to consider the fact that who was there before him? Jason Kidd, before the Golden State Warriors had their success, you know, with Steve Kerr. Who was the person that put a lot of that stuff together in terms of just the coach, not so much the front office per se? That particular coach was Mark Jackson. And so I'm not really sure why he's maybe not getting that opportunity per se. But I want to pick Dyson's brain about that too. And if you want to be a part of the show, feel free. A couple people have already kind of chimed in a little bit. Want to make sure that I put this up for you guys so that you know you have I have an open door policy over here at Tate's Take, where basketball lives. So feel free to comment below with questions and opinions before I'll check in with some of the people that have already done exactly that, because they are consistent listeners and watchers of the Tate's Take podcast. I want to let you know that you can do the exact same thing. You know, we talking everything 94 feet long, 50 feet wide, 22 feet and 1 1/4 inches out on the perimeter. That's for college. That's just on the collegiate level. For the NBA, I want to say it's 23 feet and 3/4 inches out on the perimeter. And if that rim is 10 feet tall, then you're going to be able to find the best basketball content right here on Tate's Take. Be sure to subscribe. 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 I think that sounds right. That sounds just about right. I was in the spelling bee competition when I was younger, man, and I won it like 3 times in a row and took runner-up on the 4th year, which I don't know. I think there might have been some a little bit of skepticism with the scoring there on that one a little bit, but nonetheless, subscribe. Make sure that you tell your friends. Make sure you tell your family. I dare you to do it. I dare you to go and share this podcast right now. We are accessible anywhere and everywhere. So I want to be sure. We're going to get to the basketball here in a second, but I have to let you guys know I can't stress it enough. And I'm really overly thankful, overly grateful, overly appreciative for you guys doing that, because when you do that, you are helping someone else achieve their dreams, their goals, their aspirations in life. This guy right here. Make sure that you subscribe anywhere you find your favorite podcast. That's Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, Red Circle, Stitcher. It's up any and everywhere. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mama, tell your grandmama. Make sure that you tell everybody, because that's where you can go and find it. So if you got an iPhone and you don't have the Android, there's still room for you. If you got the Android and you don't have the iPhone, there's ways that you can get around all of that good stuff. And last but certainly not least, make sure that you subscribe as well on YouTube. We do have a YouTube page, so I'm really thankful for people that taking out the opportunity in their busy day to not only peep this podcast, but to do so going forward. Now, back to some more basketball stuff, because I was kind of talking about the Milwaukee Bucks, and obviously they got a really intriguing matchup with the Orlando Magic out of the East as the number 1 seed and having the best record in the NBA. What I think the best defensive team, maybe not the best, more so shot blocking. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people want to see the Los Angeles Lakers against the Milwaukee Bucks in the end, because of the overall defense for the Milwaukee Bucks. And then, of course, the front court defense for the Los Angeles Lakers. And we know that the Lakers have had some of their issues of their own. Okay, that's something that we know. LeBron James have even spoken about it, saying that there's some things going on within the team themselves, things that are bigger than on the court, things specifically. I got to get out of saying specifically. But even more so, so we know about some of those concerns. But when I'm looking at the Milwaukee Bucks, I don't necessarily see a team that looks like they're unbeatable. I don't see them as a team that look like they can't be phased. They look much like the team that we saw in last year when they played in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Toronto Raptors. And it appears that the Toronto Raptors had the key ingredient, okay? Arguably or inarguably the best two-way player in the NBA in the whole league, that being Kawhi Leonard, but they don't have that anymore. So while I do like to think that there is a blueprint that you sit back and you let Giannis Antetokounmpo sit back and shoot from the perimeter because he's not a great shooter. And I know that that's something he's been really, really working on for a long time, is to not necessarily perfect, but just to improve more than anything on that jump shot. That's something that's going to be really, really key to whomever meets up with the Milwaukee Bucks in the event that they get past Orlando Magic. But they're the first ones up, and they didn't have to travel very far to get to this point, considering that the bubble is in Orlando, or I guess if you want to get overly technical, that it's in Kissimmee, Florida. But nonetheless, you know, you really have to consider that. And I know that they're down. They've got some injuries. Jonathan Isaac went out with an injury at the beginning of when basketball really resumed. You have Mo Bamba, who is out with some COVID-19 complications. So there's their front court right there and that assistance. And I can only imagine that the guy who complains more than anybody else about the dunk contest, which I still don't know why he was really still thinking about that after all this time. And maybe he had too much quarantine time on his hands. But after he lost the dunk contest, I don't know why there's a need to go after Dwayne Wade on that one, but he's going to have to be a person that's really going to have to step up significantly, bring some production, bring some contribution in the front court, because at this point, it really appears to be that the opposition is probably going to be a little bit too big. Giannis Antetokounmpo is darn near a 7-footer within his own right. Then you have the Lopez twins between Robin and Brooke. That is a complete mismatch for anybody. And so, you know, when I'm just kind of looking at that particular series and looking at the Milwaukee Bucks, they still don't look like a team that is going to just go through the Eastern Conference unscathed. I don't think that the Eastern Conference is nearly as bad as a lot of people think that they are, and that it used to be, you know, back in from the time of 2004 after the Pistons ran through the Eastern Conference and then won a championship, obviously, but they ran through the East for so many years consecutively. I don't think that this is the same Eastern Conference as that. I really don't. I think you have some good teams. I mean, the problem with a team like Philly, who I really thought could be in contention, maybe not necessarily this year, but over years past, over the course of the last couple of years, but they don't seem to have it all together from a chemistry standpoint. I know that there's some issues with Ben Simmons and maybe having an injury. I'm like, oh, poor baby, him pinky toe hurt. That's kind of the impression that a guy like Ben Simmons gives me. He got a little bit more light skin going on for than it is to my liking. And I could say that because I'm light skinned. Put it together, dude. Get it together. They already gave you time, just talking about Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers. They already gave you all this time to get yourself together, to get yourself prepared for the NBA. You set out for what, a year or two, still try to go after winning the Rookie of the Year award, in which he did. I know Donovan Mitchell probably, you know, he'll certainly disagree with that or whatever, but nonetheless, he's being put in position to where he's such a critical part of this team, and he's not taking jump shots. So, or three-pointers for sure out from the perimeter. So from that standpoint, we don't have him, if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers, to be able to say he's a huge threat, because he's probably the biggest piece not having the last name Embiid on that team. And he's talking about the Toronto Raptors, a team who's been looking almost just about probably as good as anybody who's played in this bubble outside of the Phoenix Suns, that can do some damage. They came into the bubble winning like 14 or 15 games in a row, which is absolutely just crazy to me and just absurd to an extent. You know, it's just crazy to think about it. So they've got some pieces. No, they don't have Kawhi Leonard, but they look like, I'm not going to say they look like they haven't missed a beat, but Nick Nurse did a very good job of getting this team to reacclimate itself or find some proper adjustments to be made to still be successful even without Kawhi Leonard. There's a reason for why he is up for the Coach of the Year with, who I want to say might be Billy Donovan, who did a phenomenal job with the Oklahoma City Thunder this year. And then even more so, who else done that? Oh, Mike Budenholzer from the Milwaukee Bucks, who I would imagine probably will get the Coach of the Year award within the NBA. So I think that that's even more so intrigue. All of this stuff is just so intriguing within the NBA, because when you start really breaking it down, you start really thinking about the different parts of it and so forth. I mean, even some more Eastern Conference team. I don't really suspect that Brooklyn is really going to do much in the East. I think that once you start talking about the Brooklyn Nets and teams like that, that's where it starts to snowball, and it does start to look very similar to the older Eastern Conference, where you had the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference all-stars playing each other, and it just really didn't pan out to look very well, which is why they start trying to put together a new format and make a little bit different. So again, Tate's Take with you here. Tate's Take, the podcast, hashtag where basketball lives. Got my dude Rob Hamilton on here, who put together a extremely nice gesture. I feel like I want to cry all over again, if I'm just being completely honest with you. Sent me a really nice card, sent me a really awesome, super dope composite leather basketball, like the real thing, like the NBA. Where is my basketball? It's somewhere behind me. Not where it needs to be just yet, but that is still in motion, putting together a nice little backdrop, and Rob being a guy who really I'm trying to find a perfect word to describe him. There's not one that great necessarily, if I'm just being honest with you, but a guy who's kind of taking me under his wing and really being a huge contributor to the podcast. And I definitely thank him from the bottom of my heart for putting together something really nice, man, to just try to contribute. So I'm really thankful for that as well. Daniel Artest saying, let's get it. Yes, let's get it. It's NBA time. It's NBA playoffs. It's 2020. We didn't know if we was going to have a season that was even going to resume and make it this far. But the job that the NBA has done has been just phenomenal. It's been super dope, and I'm really happy to hear about it. Rob Hamilton saying, thanks, man. Appreciate you, Rob. No, thank you for contributing to the show that has meant more to me than clearly I can even find words for. And then we got Mel B checking in. Appreciate you, Mel. Saying LOL, light skin. Yeah, when you light skin, you can say light skin jokes. You can do that. Speaking of, I got somebody who every time I think about this dude, I always like ear to ear, because that's my dude, bro. Like another light skin homie. Man, we go so far back and still got so far to go. But I know that he's going to come in with some good energy. I know that he's going to come in with some good knowledge. Dude loves the NBA, loves basketball in general. He's a NBA-oholic, if there's even a such thing. Yes, another word that I made up. My light-skinned brother from another mother. That's the way I'm looking at it, man. My homeboy, my dude.
Yes.
My boy, Mike Dice. What up, though, cuz?
What up, though, Tate? Hey, did somebody mention light skin? What's up? What a great transition. He is here now. What up, though?
Yeah. Him here. My dude, Iron Mike Dice, joining the show, man. If you guys want to join the show, like my dude here that's paying attention, you see there that clearly he doesn't have a avatar. Still got some custom made, some work to do on it. But and in the bottom of that, the little red square, inside of it being a little white square, and inside of it a little red triangle. That's the YouTube icon. He's watching on YouTube. You can do the same thing. Go and subscribe on YouTube. Just click on that little search box, hover over that little magnifying glass that you see. And right there is where you just type in Tate's Take, TATE''S, and you can subscribe to the podcast at Tate's Take Hoops on the Twitter. Now, he said, remember that one time we drank a beer in the arena. I'm going to tell you like this. I'm very thankful, and I'm going to get to Iron Mike in a second. I'm very thankful and overly grateful for any and everybody that watches the podcast, pay attention to the podcast. I'm not trying to single out nobody like I don't know who in the world they are, but his name is BP, and I'm need a little bit more. I'm gonna need an update on this avatar to before I start confirming that we drank a beer in the arena. Hopefully, I didn't have a credential around my neck at the time, because you're not supposed to be working and drinking at the same time. Dice, bro, I kind of teased a little bit and talked about so many different things. I want to start off with the bubble in terms of the NBA. Talk about what kind of a great job they've done, because I hear that there's kind of been some people kind of poo-pooing a little bit on, man, this kind of reminds me of like AAU basketball, or kind of got an international feel, or like summer league or whatever. But I feel like they did the best job that they possibly could with what they were working with. You got the virtual fans, regardless of how corny it is. And then, of course, it's not exactly the in-house arena atmosphere, but they did the best job that they could, even pumping in some of the crowd noise and things like that. Talk about the kind of job you think that they've done so far.
Hey, absolutely, man. And people who have those complaints and those criticisms, they trying to act like they didn't have fun at AAU. I mean, AAU was fun, bro. And this is nothing but the AAU on like steroids, bro. So many things that the NBA came through with the innovations. You mentioned the virtual fans. That's so awesome. I mean, you can have like random fans. I know some players had their own family members in attendance. I saw Chris Paul's son, little Chris. He was in there. Shaq made an appearance, all types of celebrities. So that was awesome, bro. I'm not sure if the players can hear like the noise, on the court, on the floor, but from like a viewer, if you're watching the game, you can hear that pumped in noise though, man. So the whole the whole ambiance, bro, it gave it that feel like you're watching a regular NBA game, bro. I know a lot of people complain about like the optics, it was too dark and so forth. I'm not really tripping, man. I always feel like when I watch a Knicks game or a Lakers game, those games are dark anyway. So that's cool, man. You have like the speakers underneath the floor, bro. So when you're running down the floor, you can hear like the players running. And it's not like the squeaky sound of like gym shoes or sneakers. It sounds like thoroughbreds running down the floor, man. You had an introduction of 26 new cameras, man, underneath the basket in the stench. And I love the rail cam. Now, you being the NCAA dude, you're familiar with the rail cam. You know what I'm saying? March Madness, right on the sidelines, man. That was dope to me, bro.
I love that, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just on the micro level. On the macro level, bro, if you compare like the NBA to other leagues, like Major League Baseball, you probably talked to the people about this already, man. If you compare like NBA to Major League Baseball, I mean, like the Florida Marlins, they had like 18 players in the whole outbreak with COVID, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not playing in the bubble. You had so many teams in Major League Baseball, they're postponing games because of the COVID, man. I love the situation, the structure of the bubble, man. They gotta have everybody together and healthy. I know it's not like an NBA commercial, but it's true though, man. NBA players had like 346 tests. They all came back negative. You can't even look at football. What's the buddy in the NFL for the Seattle Seahawks? Dude, you heard about the story. He tried to sneak a girl in the hotel. You know what I'm saying? Got kicked out. Like, come on, bro. Like, so many questions right there. Number one, how does the girl look? You know what I'm saying? If he's trying to like pass her off as a football player, how big is she? Like, is she a linebacker for the hefty hoes? What's going on there? But that's another story, though, bro. That's another story. But I just love what the NBA is doing with the innovations, man. I mean, they're doing a great job, bro.
When you start hearing words like macro and micro, that's when you know my boy Dice is back on the podcast, man. I always tease him about being Mr. Dartmouth / Harvard / Yale, Columbia, Brown, and so forth. First of all, let me get this out the way real quick. All right. And you knew I was gonna pinpoint it out.
Okay.
Don't hide it behind the fro, bro. Do you got the hot bag of Better Made chips family size?
You know I do, bro.
Posted on your wall. Real Detroit there.
I had to say
real Detroit. My man, no, the people don't understand, bro. The people don't understand. If it did not look so unprofessional, I would take off these headphones, get out of my chair, go over to the kitchen and get my hot bag off of the refrigerator.
Oh, so you got some on deck. You got some chips now.
Dude, when do I not have a bag of hots? Better Made hots on deck. Yes, we need to see if they can do some sponsoring the way we throwing some love around. My boy got the hot bag. That's when you know you from the D. That's the hot bag right there. You in Detroit, look behind Dice. You see that red hot bag, you get them anywhere in the D. Anywhere in Detroit, go get you a bag of them, and then check in with us on the Twitter at Tate's Take Hoops. TATESTAKEHOOPS, or make sure you do this if you don't do nothing else outside of subscribing at the Delegate 24 at THEDELEGATE 24. Man, you said so much, dude. I brought on Jared Greenberg last week, a reporter for NBA TV, And he pretty much essentially said the same thing about in the bubble, that the way that we hear it on TV is not the way that it seems down there. You can't, the crowd noise, it doesn't play into effect. It's a lot quieter, which I wouldn't have even thought of. It's a lot quieter inside of the actual gym in the bubble than it is what we're watching on TV. I got Sekou Smith from NBA TV as well that's going to be coming on live from the bubble over the course of the next couple weeks. So you guys want to keep your eyes and your ears open on that. Moving forward, Dice, before we start getting into the game-by-game series, we've seen a play-in game. First play-in game, to my knowledge, ever in the history of the NBA, where we saw the Portland Trail Blazers and the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, what I don't want to happen is for me to not mention this little part and get a text from my boy Dice or afterwards, like, hey, cuz, hey, bro, you ain't even let the people know that I picked Portland to win that game, bro. So just for the record, Dice picked Portland. I don't know you. Can you hear me, Dice?
I appreciate that, bro.
All right. I just want to make sure you can hear me, bro, because I'm showing my boy some love, because I don't want to think that I forgot about him. I gotta hear, like, bro. Make sure you let the people know who I picked, bro. And every time black folks go like this, bro, they start talking like this, bro. So Dice picked the Portland Trail Blazers. Congratulations.
Yeah,
I picked the Portland Trail Blazers as well, but I didn't think that game was going to be nearly as close as it was. What says you?
100%. That's why I feel like I don't deserve the props, Tate, because I told you behind closed doors on the phone, I said, bro, Portland is going to ramrod the Memphis Grizzlies. They're going to steamroll these boys by at least 20 points. So many reasons and scenarios why, bro. First of all, Memphis, they came into the play-in limping into the play-in game, bro. They were comfortably in the 8th seed the whole season for the most part, you know what I'm saying? And then coming into the play-in game, they lost 2 or 3 games in a row. They lost a key component. Your boy from Michigan State land, the Spartan, Jaren Jackson Jr., bro. So when they lost him, I thought it was a wrap, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did not think that Memphis could do it, but they showed me so much, though, yesterday, bro. I mean, there was a point in the game where Memphis was down by 16 points in the first half. And I said, okay, it's a wrap. It's over with, man. But Memphis showed so much heart, character, and grit. And I'm surprised.
Resiliency. Let me channel my inner Mike Dice. Is that a good word?
That's a great
resiliency.
Word. Hey, as a matter of fact, so you beat me to the punch. I had 4 words to describe Ja Morant. I said resilient, relentless, persistent, and unwavered, bro, because he had a bad first half. I think Memphis was down like 6, 7, 8 points. He had like 15 points. It was like a quiet 15 points. He had 1 assist and a lot of turnovers. You know what I'm saying? I thought Portland was going to cruise, man, but they stayed in the fight, though. Shout out to the young boy Brooks, light skin, part of LSU. Dylan Brooks, man. He had some big shots. And their coach, Jenkins, bro, I came a lot. Before this season, even in the NBA annals and NBA ranks, you didn't hear too much about what's his name, Taylor Jenkins for the Memphis Grizzlies, bro. But he coached a hell of a game, man. I really feel like if Jaren Jackson Jr. played that game, we could be playing right now. I mean, Memphis had a great shot of winning that game, man. But Portland, though, man, I know I'm jumping the gun right now before we get into round by round. I knew Portland's going to win. They're not your average 8th seed. If you look at them, man, on paper, they're probably like the most all-around, well-rounded team in the NBA besides the Clippers. They're like too deep, bro. And if you look at them, man, and you know what? They're a 3-and-D player, Trevor Ariza, from being away from me, like favoring them for the old NBA championship. That's how deep they are, though, bro. So there's no surprise that Portland won, man. But shout out to Memphis, though, man. They played a hell of a game. Like you said, man, I did not expect it to be that close.
I'm going to ask you about this, too, though, bro, while we're talking about it. Dude, one thing about Portland, I'm even curious to know, like, I think I saw the line. I don't even remember what the spread is at this point. Maybe 6 or 8 or something like that for the Lakers.
Oh, okay.
For the first round for the Lakers. I'm thinking it's like 6 or 8 or something like that for the first round. I don't know. But regardless of the fact, I'm almost curious to know what is the odds of Portland going all the way to the finals, just to the finals. Yeah. What are those odds as an 8 seed and having to play the Lakers right off the rip? Considering the problem the Lakers have and so forth, but to go on and do something like that because they're on a roll, bro. And I know that a lot of people like Damian Lillard, but like CJ played out of his mind. McCollum played out of his mind. And yesterday said, "This dude can guard." Well, it's my show. I can say what I want. This dude can't fucking guard me. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, dude, you know what I mean? He cooking. You know what I'm saying? He was in there. He was cooking, trying to show this is a big boys game. You a rook, and he treated him like a rookie. And I think that's something that Ja Morant is going to grow from. Let me say this too, though. I'm not going to say I was the biggest critic on Ja Morant, but I just wasn't a big believer in Ja Morant. You know, and me and you have talked multiple times, kind of talked about how he kind of has a little bit of Allen Iverson to his game. You mentioned even Russell Westbrook. Certainly his competitive nature he channeled in the second half looked very much like Russ in those regards too as well. Dude got bunnies that can jump out the gym and probably even change the light bulbs on top of the arena. But with that being said, like, it's more than just Lillard. You do have Carmelo, who could probably inconsistent a lot of times, but can shoot off for like 25 plus on you at any given moment. Zach Collins, bro, got to come back off the pine and be a little bit more healthy consistently. But Nurkic with like 20 something and 20 something. You got, you know, you got Gary Trent, who was looking good on both ends of the floor. What do you think that Portland has to do if they want to put together a nice little string of games and continue this and keep this up to knock off the Lakers? Because the Lakers got the size. I told the people before, LeBron is not a small dude. Neither is Kuzma. You got Dwight. And then in the starting lineup is Anthony Davis, and you got JaVale McGee. They lead the league as a team in blocks. What does Portland have to do if they want to stand a chance, because they don't have the size advantage?
Like I said, man, Portland is too deep in each position, bro. Every position they got a serviceable backup player. You can look at point guard. You didn't even mention Simmons. What's his name? Anthony Simons. Anthony Simons. There you go, bro. He has bonies. He can get up. He's a serviceable backup point guard. Gary Trent is a nice combo guard, bro. Like I said, bro, the only thing that's keeping Portland from going all the way to the finals, in my opinion, is a 3-and-D small forward. Yeah, Melo will give you buckets. He's still a serviceable small forward, but I'm not sure how he can, like, you know, contend with Kawhi Leonard or LeBron James on the defensive end. That's why I think Ariza being important would be great for them. Or even, I was mad when they gave up last year Aminu and or Harkless. You know what I'm saying? Like those are Harkless, serviceable, like 3-and-D, like small forward. And that's really the only thing that's keeping them from like really being like the favorite, bro. LA, I love LA. They have two of the top 5 arguably players in the league, bro. But after that, though, like the Lakers are very top heavy, man. And they're like role players, as Shaq calls them, the others. I'm not that convinced, bro. Danny Green is cool, man, but he's like one of those players like your Steve Kerrs or Luke Longley's. Like, okay, I've been on the championship winning team, so I'm gonna sign this free agent contract deal and get big money just because I was on the winning team. But I'm not really like a difference maker, though. You know, Danny Green's good and everything, man, but he's not really like, you know, making any difference in my mind. J.R. Smith is cool, but where's his mind at? He's been out the league for like 2-3 years. Deion Waiters is cool, man. He's inconsistent, man. I like Dwight. Yeah, I like Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee in terms of, like, you know, competing against Nurkic and Hassan Whiteside, bro. But the Lakers, though, I'll tell you, man, they're only too deep, man. I know this league is built on superstars and LeBron James and Anthony Davis can turn it on at any time. But look at Anthony Davis, though. He's only had like one year in his whole career where he's been in the playoffs. So his playoff experience is very small and shallow. LeBron is good, but he's 35 years old. That's a lot of pressure and responsibility to put on somebody that's 35 years old, bro. And just on the eye test, just looking how they looking, bro, the Lakers are looking very dry, incohesive. They look like, you know, they got the excuses going on already. LeBron talking about, I miss my family. That could be very much true. But, you know, the whole process and routine of, I miss the fans and things are looking different. I just feel like the excuses are already starting already. You know what I'm saying? And just being a basketball fan and a savant, I look at the intangibles and I say, you know, these things aren't adding up, man. Portland is on the run. And I'm going to end it right here, man. The last time we saw a number 8 team on the run like this, kind of happened like in a crazy year, the strike shortened season in '99 when the Knicks defeated the Miami Heat in the first round and went to the finals, man. Like, these Portland Trail Blazers having that same energy and swag as that '99 Knicks team to me, bro.
I thought you was about to say so. Who was that when Dikembe was on the ground with the ball? Were they an 8 seed
They were
they were an 8 that eliminated
94
Seattle?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to put it all together. Incohesive. And what was the other one you said? You said another one, bro. Cuz with an I. Cuz said incohesive and something else, bro. But you gonna get your knowledge when Dice come on the show, man. And now, like you said, that was another problem, man, with the Lakers, is that who's going to be that third scorer? Who can step in and be consistent? And we really don't know exactly who that is. Like you said, a lot of these guys, they got a lot of older heads. They got a lot of guys that's past their prime on these teams. And I don't want to hear from LeBron either, because he's picking and choosing who he wants on his teams a lot of times, number one. Mm-hmm. And number two, when Kyrie was trying to get people behind him about not resuming the season and so forth, and we all know who the face of the league is, not just the Lakers franchise right now, being LeBron James, being the person that was going against that and said he wants NBA back. Now you're being the guy, again, to your point about making excuses about bringing the NBA back around full circle and wanting to play and this and that. That's some of the reasons why people feel the way that they do about LeBron. I'm not a LeBron lover. I'm not a LeBron hater. I respect what LeBron has done in this league. I'm still very, very, very likely going to take LeBron and the Lakers to come out of that particular series against Portland. But nothing says that series cannot go 7. Who are you taking to advance, Dice, and in how many games?
In that series?
In that series, and winning in how many games?
I'm gonna go Portland in 6, bro.
Ooh. Ooh.
And that's
in 6.
And I'm being generous to the Lakers, bro. I don't see the offense, man. I love Kuzma, bro, but he's so inconsistent. I don't know where his mind is at, man. I don't know if playoff Rondo's going to come back. He's like targeted to come back in the second round. Like the Lakers, bro, they just have a lot of like individual parts, but they don't play together as a unit, man. Like I don't see any specialists. Danny Green's supposed to be your 3-and-D guy, but his 3-point shot been coming off in the bubble, bro. I'm just not that. Just like based on the eyeball test, bro. I'm not feeling the Lakers right now, bro.
Plus, on top of that, just things that I want the people to consider, man. It's, oh my God, it's so crazy, dude. I'm just so excited to have basketball back. I be losing my train of thought sometimes, bro, because it's been a long time coming. That's what she said. But peep game, but peep game. It's all gonna start on tomorrow, and I want to keep it within the Western Conference because yes, I am taking. I'm gonna take the Lakers in 7 games.
Okay.
But game 1 on tomorrow. Let's start there. Game 1 tomorrow, 1:30 p. Eastern Standard Time. You have the Utah Jazz, who is the 6th seed, and the Nuggets being the number 3 seed. And that goes, by the way, the point that I was going to make is that you don't have that home court advantage stuff going on. So I think that these series and a lot of these games are all going to kind of balance themselves out a little differently because of the fact that it is a neutral site. Nuggets, Jazz, tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern Standard. Who you taking on that one? Why? And in how many games?
So coming into today, I was in the air and I would have been leaning with Utah, but I just found out that Mike Conley is going to lead the bubble for the birth of his new son or daughter. I'm not sure the sex of the kid, man, but congratulations to Conley. So that definitely changes like my whole perception of the whole situation. You already have Bogdanovich hurt, Utah's second leading scorer. You know what I'm saying? Utah's come on, man. Michael Porter's looking like the first round pick. He was projected to be Bo out there looking good, man. But Jamal Murray's back, you know what I'm saying, after like missing some games. But with that said, though, bro, I'm going with Utah, man. You know, I'm just going with Utah. Just call it a feeling, man. I believe in Utah's system. I believe when you have 2 evenly matched teams, you kind of like have to use the coach as like the difference maker. I like Michael Malone. He's the son of old Detroit Pistons assistant coach Brendan Malone. So he has Pistons ties and he has like NBA and coaching in his background, his blood. So shout out to him. I'm definitely a fan of Malone, man. But in the coaching bracket, I have Quinn Snyder over Michael Malone. And then I know Nikola Jokic, the Joker. He's one of the best players in the league, Tate. Yes. You know what I'm saying? I know that. But to me, the best player on the floor in that series is going to be Donovan Mitchell, though, bro. That's just in my opinion. He's going to be the best player, man. And there's something about Utah. I mean, I don't know if it's like for me, the NBA is all about like narratives and unwritten stories and just headlines and so forth, man. I just feel like, you know, Rudy Gobert was the reason, that the NBA shut down arguably 5 months ago. Then you had the rift between Donovan Mitchell, then Rudy Gobert. Those are kind of like storylines you see players either like they gel together or, so they kind of like break apart. And I feel like this Utah team is trying to like use this as a reason to come together, man. So I've got Utah in 7.
We might have to I'm gonna take Denver.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Denver in 7. As much as I want to say 6, I am gonna say 7. We might have to put a bag of hot boys on that one, a bag of hots on that one. So I just think that's gonna be a really intriguing matchup. One of the problems that I see with Denver, bro, if this is a such thing, they just got too much talent on their roster. They don't have nearly enough role players. They got a lot of guys that can score, but not a lot of guys that can do other things. So that's going to be very critical for them as well. Staying within the Western Conference, game 1 that you will see on tomorrow night at 9 p. Eastern Standard Time, you have the number 2 seeded Los Angeles Clippers. This is about to get crazy against the number 7 seeded Dallas Mavericks. This is one that I really think that the Mavericks can really pull off, bro. I'm excited to see Luka, who I think is arguably – seriously, I've been feeling this way. I told you I wasn't a big Luka guy coming out, and he definitely earned my respect. I told people I'm not a Luka dude. This dude is serious.
Yeah.
This dude might be the best player in the NBA. If he's not the best player in the NBA, we are literally only, let me see, what's 365 times 2, about 7 and some change? We are literally only about 700 and something days away from saying that this dude is bar none, hands down, pound for pound, the best player in the league. I don't think that we're that far away from saying that. Dude's averaging a triple-double and doing stuff that looks effortless. He's not overly athletic. He's not a great defensive player by any means, which I do understand that. But he affects the game in such a way, and it's just so smooth. It's like he's out there rollerblading, not roller skating. I never put on a pair of rollerblades, but he just looks like he's out there rollerblading, and nobody can stop him, and everything just looks so slow, like but it's fluid. That being said, I know you love the Clippers, bro. I'm not sure if I can. I'm going to take the Clippers on this one. I think that one, bro, don't be surprised if you hear me say all of these joints is going to be game 7s. Right. That's the kind of NBA playoffs that we're looking at. This is going to be very reminiscent of exactly what you would have seen in March Madness. Shed a tear. That being said, you got to let me know who you got, bro. I'm going to take the Clippers in 7 again. But bro, it's gonna be a dogfight because Porzingis and some of them guys that's around him, I don't think they're good enough. They need a couple more pieces. But Dallas is gonna be giving off the same feel when they're done with this particular series after playing an LA Clippers team that a lot of people are taking all the way to the finish line. They're gonna have that same feel that a lot of people have about Phoenix when they finished on a 9-0 record, having some positivity. What you think?
Well, I think you are going to get this text and or phone call after the show getting cussed out on because you did take my thunder. If anybody was to say that Luka Doncic was the best player in the league, it was supposed to be me saying this on the show, bro. I was supposed to say that first. Luka is the best. It was supposed to be me saying that first, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm mad about that, but I do agree with you though, Tate. Luka may be the best player in the league right now. Like right now, it's looking between like Dame Lillard or Luka Doncic, man. And you made a great point about Kristaps Porzingis, bro. Like arguably, like when that trade was made, Kristaps was probably the best player. Like he was viewed as the best player on that Mavericks team, man. But he was hurt. He didn't play for that team. And like you said, Luka's been averaging a triple-double subsequently, bro. So Luka is definitely doing his thing. And back to your point about looking so fluid, that's when you're the best player on the court, you dictate the pace. So he can be slow, he can be fast, whatever. He can do what he wants because he's dictating the pace because he's the best player on the court. So that's why it looks that way. What we're doing right now, we're like the dudes in the 80s, the black dudes in the 80s who had like, you know what? I hate to say it, but Larry Bird is probably the best player in the league right now. That's a bad white boy. We probably them dudes in the 80s right now, seeing our version of Larry Bird right now. Like you hate to say it, but like, you know what? This dude might be the best player in the league. But I'm going to take the Clippers in 6 because the Clippers are just too deep, bro. Their second team is like a a starting first team in any NBA league or team right now. You got Reggie Jackson coming off the bench. You got Lou Williams coming off the bench. You got Trez coming off the bench. You got so many players, bro. That's just and they're good. So I'm gonna go with the Clippers of the 6. But back to your point about the Nuggets, man. You had made a point earlier about the neutral site and so forth, and no team having like an advantage. I think that's going to be a detriment to Denver because Denver, one of their big advantages was like the mile high and the altitude in Denver. They don't have that, man. So that's
good point.
Another reason why I'm walking with Utah, bro. But I didn't mean to throw you off, bro. Like, shout out to you because I know you were. I ain't gonna say you were a Luka hater, bro, but I know you were like pro Trae Young.
I was
Trae Young, and
you still am.
Yes, Trae Young is a monster to beat. So for you to say.
I still am.
Well deserved. He's a beast, bro. But for you to say that Luka was the man, I'm saluting you, though, bro, because that's showing growth and objectivity, though, bro. I was just busting your chops with that one.
Subsequently, objectivity, the whole nine. But you know what we do on this show, Dice. We keep it real. We honest. As much as we can come on here and say I was right about A, B, and C is the same way that we can come on here and talk about how we was wrong about X, Y, and Z. Bro said dictate the pace. That's gonna be something so critical with these playoffs because possessions start to slow down. You start seeing more half-court offense, not as much run and gun and guys getting into transition. Dictating the offense is going to become very, very critical. So that's very, very key. Dictate. You feel me? 2 words that probably go to bed. Two words. Dictate. 2 words that probably go together better than peanut butter and jelly, bro. Hey, going on to
I ain't gonna touch that one. I ain't gonna touch that one. I like Dice Tate, yo. I like Dice Tate over Dictate. All right, bro.
It's all good, G. 4 and 5 matchup. That one went over a lot of people's heads. 4 and 5 matchup. The Houston Rockets, number 4 seed, number 5 seed, OKC Thunder. I don't want to say a lot, even though I got so much to say. But I will say this. The Houston Rockets is a team that I think underachieved. There's no way that this is supposed to be a team that barely has a better record than the Thunder, okay? And I'm not saying that the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets are bad teams. I'm just a little bit surprised that we're not seeing Houston in a much better seed than where we're seeing them at from the time that the season started, especially getting Westbrook coming over. Not a big fan of the system that they have put together with Mike D'Antoni at all. I don't think that this whole, tallest guy on the floor being Westbrook or whoever, even though he's not playing the center position, that they don't have an existent center after losing Clint Capella to the Atlanta Hawks. That being said, I'm just not confident. They're going to go out there and try and outscore opponents. This thing is going to quickly turn into, Pac-12 football type stuff or Big 12 football type stuff, where it's just about putting numbers on the board, and whoever got the ball in their hands with the possession last is going to be the ones that are going to dictate whether you're going to be adding a number to the left or to the right side of the result column. When you're looking at the matchup, dude, the Oklahoma City Thunder has probably been, or to me, I think that they have been the biggest surprise of the NBA season, and just something that I really just did not expect. They did. If there was a such thing as most improved team in the NBA, I think that would be the OKC Thunder. Think about it. There is no Kevin Durant on this team. There is no James Harden on this team. There is no Russell Westbrook on this team. There is no Carmelo Anthony on this team. There is no Victor Oladipo on this team. There is no Paul George on this team. All players that played under that franchise but never was able to win a championship. And I'm not saying that this one will, but when you start looking at all those guys who are at superstar status in this league or very close to outside of Oladipo, bro, they've done a phenomenal job. Especially another guy I got to give credit to, because I was wrong about, was Chris Paul. I didn't expect him having this kind of year, and I salute to a dude like that who had a huge hand in on the NBA even resuming as a whole. I'm going to take the Houston Rockets on this one. This one could very well be a 5-game series. I'm going to take it 6. I think it's going to be a little bit too much. Wow, Chris Paul against his old team, man. I'm gonna go 6 games. I'm gonna go Houston.
And not only Chris Paul versus his old team, Russell Westbrook versus his old team, and Russell Westbrook is going to miss the first couple of games in that series because of a quad injury. So that's why, and for the reasons why you had mentioned about OKC, I'm going to take OKC, bro. OKC has 4 players that can give you buckets at any time, though, bro. SGA, Schroeder, Chris Paul. Who else am I leaving out, bro? It's a 4th member. Oh, Gallinari will give you buckets.
Gallinari.
19 to 20 points at any given time, bro. I like their system. I like Billy Donovan as a coach. And to your point, Houston's system is good. I feel like D'Antoni should have ran this system when he had Phoenix. He didn't have enough courage or confidence to do that. You know what I'm saying? This system right here is like, like my man Aleem, he says, Houston's not worried about or concerned about playing defense. They're just concerned about putting 130 on the scoreboard. And can you match the 130? See, that's cool and all, man, but I know what Westbrook and Harden is going to give me, but after that, it's a crapshoot, bro, because who's to say, like, Daniel House might make 5 threes, he may make 2. Tucker may make 3 threes, he may make 1. So it's all about the 3-point shooting. And if you play against a team, who has great 3-point defense, bro, you can slow all that up. When you take Houston's 3-point shooting ability, what do you have after that? Like you said, Clint Capella, he's in Atlanta. They have no inside force. And Chris Paul, bro, he's another pace dictator, bro. He dictates the pace, bro. When you watch like OKC play the game, man, I have OKC in 7, bro. It's going to be 7 games just because Russell Westbrook's going to miss the first couple games.
I respect that. That ain't a bad pick, bro. Let me go with this, man. Let's go Eastern Conference and start off with a game that's going to play their game 1 on tomorrow. Starting off with which I think is just going to inarguably be the driest. I just tell it what it is, bro. The driest
Brooklyn
series of the driest series in the NBA playoffs. The number 2 seeded Toronto Raptors, the number 7 seeded Brooklyn Nets, and I know that that Brooklyn fought really hard against Portland to finish off the season, would determine whether Portland was going to get into the playoffs or not, and even more so, not having Kyrie and not having Spencer Dinwiddie and not having KD. Dude, they've been doing the best that they can with what they have to offer, and that's what it is. Jared Allen and Karis LeVert, your boy, Michigan Wolverine, all those things. I think that one there, I think that's a clean sweep. They can play that one in an NBA arena. They can play that one in the bubble. They can play that one in the backyard, bro, on the playground. It doesn't matter. They can shoot it in milk crates. It doesn't make a difference. I think that one is a clean sweep. Toronto is just far too much for those dudes. And I think it's best that I just leave it right there without completely disrespecting the Brooklyn Nets, if I'm just being honest. I'm going to take that one clean sweep. We are the North. Who you got, bro?
I'll give the Nets 1 game just because I like what Jacques Vaughn is doing. The rumors are that the Nets are going to be looking for a new head coach, when the bubble concludes, man. So right now he's auditioning. He's trying to show the rest of the league he's a competent and capable coach. So I think he's going to overachieve in the coaching bracket. I've been watching a couple of games with the Nets, man. I mean, I love their system that, by the way, Kenny Atkinson, he implemented, bro. I thought that, Kenny Atkinson caught a raw deal for the Nets, just because he probably wasn't liked by Kyrie or KD, man. So, he had to go. But I like the system that Kenny Atkinson plays in Brooklyn that's being carried right now by Jacques Vaughn. I like Luwawu Caribou. I'm saying his name all wrong, man. But TLC.
Luwawu.
TLC.
Luwawu.
I like what he's doing. Cabarro. There you go. TLC. I like what he's doing. You already mentioned Karis LeVert. He's putting in work. I'll give them 1 game, bro. I'll give them 1 game. I got Toronto in 5. Okay.
And incompetent, bro. Incompetent. That's another one. I hope y'all listen. I hope y'all paying attention and learning something. That one is at 4 p. Eastern Standard Time on tomorrow. Then on to the second game in the Eastern Conference on tomorrow, 6:30 p. Eastern Standard Time. You got the number 6 seeded Philadelphia 76ers, number 3 seeded Boston Celtics, I think that's one that I will take. Like if somebody's gonna come over here and really challenge the Bucks that can really do this and go to the finals out of all of these teams that can upset the Bucks, I think that the Celtics is that team. But I'm gonna feel a lot different about them if I'm just being honest with no Ben Simmons if they cannot take care of business in 5 games. I'll give the Sixers 1 game, but I'm gonna take the ball. I'm gonna take the Celtics, who I'm probably not nearly as confident in, but they got so many issues, bro. I mean, and Boston is going to hit their stride, but I'm not as big on Jason Tatum as everybody else. The dude can play ball, but I think that there are some inconsistencies in there with him as well. I'm easily taking Boston. For me, it's a matter of whether it's going to be 5 games or 6 games. Let's go Boston. Let's go Boston in 5. I'm going to go Boston in 5 games with no Ben Simmons. Who you got, Dice? How many games and why?
Like you, bro. I have Boston in 5. No Ben Simmons, no Jimmy Butler. A lot of people don't talk about this loss, man. But when the Sixers lost JJ Redick, I mean, I thought it was a wrap for Philly anyway. He was like their most consistent 3-point, shooting offense on the team. Yeah, you got a couple other players. Like I like what Thibault's doing, but he's like a Robertson from OKC to me, kind of like a just athletic.
He is Andre Robertson. Yeah, defensive minded.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And Landry Shamet, he went to like LA, bro. So they have like no consistent 3-point shooting. I like Tobias Harris. He can knock down the 3-pointer, man, but he's not like a consistent bang down 3-point shooter, bro. So I think Embiid is a top 10 player, arguably the best center in the league. So I'll give them 1 game because of that, man. And I can't even give Philly 2 games, even though it's like a revenge series for Al Horford playing against his old team, bro. I just think Boston's going to overmatch him, man. I have Boston in 5 like you, bro.
Bro, Tobias Harris is one of those names that can easily put up some of the numbers that we saw in, a TJ Warren or something like that. Don't be surprised if he comes out, has a breakout game. And he's either, mark my words, remember where you heard it first. You heard it here first on Tate's Take, where basketball lives. The game or 2 games that Tobias Harris or that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win is going to be because of Tobias Harris and the way that he exploded in that sounded a little weird, but the way that he went off and contributed to the team for that particular series. So we're going to go with that one right there. Moving forward, let me say this first, man, because I do want to, I always like to show some love to the folks. My folks, Derek Crush Boy, coming through off the love. It's an interesting series, Miami, Indiana, OKC and Houston, and then Utah and Denver. Also saying that he would have loved to see Phoenix, as I would, because you guys always learn something new on this show. If you ain't been able to notice, you've been able to learn a whole lot of really super sweet, super dope words that can seal the deal that Dyson's helped you out with. Let me tell you something about me that a lot of people may not necessarily know, but you learn something out. Phoenix Suns it's always been a team that I've always liked. I'm a D boy off rip on the regular. I'm a Piston boy. That's just the way that it is. I've always had a little bit of a thing, maybe, I guess, a little bit for the Lakers because of the simple fact, because of Magic Johnson and where I come from, my neck of the woods up in Michigan. Outside of all of that, bro, it's something about Phoenix. I've always really liked, how you got those teams or players that, and it goes in the order of 4. You got teams and players that you like and you don't really know why. You got teams and players that you don't like and you don't really know why. But you got teams and players that you do like and you do know why. And then you got teams and players that you don't like and you do know why. Bro, I don't know why I like the Phoenix Suns. They just struck a nerve with me since I was a kid. Maybe it's the Kevin Johnson thing or something like that, bro, back in 93, 94 when I first started really, really paying attention to this stuff. Saying that he would have loved to see the Phoenix Suns in their momentum going to the playoffs. That would be epic. And then last but not least, he gave his little prediction/projection saying that he's taking Boston in 6 and saying that Philly will be Philly going to be some fighters, bro. So
I agree. I agree with him with the whole Phoenix point, man. I mean, going into yesterday's game, the playing game, I would have liked to see Portland versus Phoenix. I think the whole nation would have liked to see that, man. But Memphis, they showed that they proved to be there, man. But to Derek's point, I feel like Phoenix needed like a plan for the playing game. You know what I'm saying? There's
they did.
Straight up.
Bro, and this is just why we're talking about Phoenix and trying to keep this as short as possible. Something I'm curious to know. We've seen Dame, we've seen TJ Warren, Luka's obviously in the conversation, and Dame Lillard. I'm sorry, Dame Lillard, TJ Warren, Luka Doncic, and Devin Booker. Of those four, who, just curious, before we get back to the Eastern Conference, who's your MVP of the bubble and why?
You gotta say Dame. He put this team on his back single-handedly. He brought them to the playoffs. He won the NBA's first play-in game. That's history right there. He went off for 60 points, 50 points, 40 points in 3 straight games. I like his resiliency. Resiliency. Excuse me, I can't even say my own Dyson word. But no, though, I like the way though he just came back when he was challenged by Beverly in PG. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just like
you got to respect him. Yeah, you have to.
That transcended basketball, man. You can take it as basketball, but for anything, if anybody ever disrespects you, bro, you can like take that as motivation and then just come back. Let's get the hots back. Just take them back, bro. You know what I'm saying? Get your respect. But Dame Lillard, though, 60 points, 50 points, 40 points, though, bro. I love Luka what he's doing, man. But just the eye test. My eyes tell me that Dame is unstoppable right now, bro.
You know what? And with that being said, I don't know, man, because the stuff that Luka was doing, bro, like Luka's triple doubling out here, and he didn't have to win games to play in on a position.
Yeah,
like, that makes a difference to me. I hear what people saying about Dame, but you saw more. I mean, his game is going to be more enticing, and it's going to be more flashy and everything else. That's just what it is. But a real ball player, and I'm not saying a real ball player and people who love and just understand and know the knowledge of basketball in general, I'm not saying that those are people that can't respect what Dame Lillard is doing and has done. However, people who really know this game really respects what they have been able to see Luka do. You know what I'm saying? Because the dude's not black, okay? That makes a difference in my mind because he's not an athlete. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to get over on this super athletic dude and hang in the air and do nothing that you would see the occasional black dude doing. And I'm not trying to turn it into a race war, but this is just the reality of what it is. So, this dude is looking like Larry Bird or better down the line. This is a dude that's getting everybody involved. This is a dude that's hitting step back threes, going to the basket, getting tons of and ones, throwing the ball through his leg, and everything is just, it's so crisp. I'm not trying to be, call me on the bandwagon or whatever it is, but bro, it's really hard to go against Luka for me because when you're looking at what Dame is doing, yes, 40, 50, 60-point games, but here's a dude that's putting up one night he had 32, 14, and like 19. Like, dude,
one day he had 20 assists, the next night he had 20 rebounds and like separate triple doubles. I'm with you though, bro. The only reason I'm giving it to like Dame as of right now, what's today, the 16th, is because Dame in that same game that Portland played Dallas, that's when like Dame had 61. You know what I'm saying? But to your point though, I like what you said. You said Luka's playing in games that really doesn't really mean anything to Dallas right now. So he's going out competing anyway with nothing to play for. That's why, like, if you go back to my tweet, that's why I was looking away from you, bro. I wrote this time last week on 3:04 p.m., 8/9/20. I said, I'm with the truth on that one. On my prisoner of the moment, as of right now, September 9th, my man Rick's birthday, I have Luka Doncic as the best player in the league. I said Luka 1, Giannis 2, Dame 3, Harden 4, Kawhi 5. And obviously you can take Kawhi out and put in Devin Booker. Why? Because like you said, though, man, Kawhi wasn't playing like, he had anything to prove, man. Devin was playing like he had something to prove. And back to the Clippers, bro. And that's why, like, The Clippers, I do have them the favorites to come out the West, bro. But DT, they acting really like some prima donnas right now. They acting like they've already gotten there already. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, yeah, you the favorites right now, but like slow your roll. Like, you guys have I think they're starting five, the players they want to start in the playoffs. They've only played like a combined 15 games this season, Tate. You know what I'm saying? So instead of them like taking this time in the bubble for them like to get together and like gel and like play together, you have Montrezl Harrell. He hasn't even played a game in a single bubble. You know, Lou Wings Williams, he doing his thing in Atlanta, bro. So they're like they're just like messing around. Now I feel like they think like, okay, we can just turn it on. We have to switch. But yeah, Kawhi Leonard could probably do that, but he's the only one that can do that. Like the rest of y'all haven't won anything. Y'all haven't done anything. So you need to get it together, bro. So that's just to your point about, teams playing the bubble that have nothing to play for, but they're playing anyway. But no, Luka though, bro, he's 1B right now. If Dame is 1A, Luka's 1B, bro.
Coming back to the point that Derek Crush Boyd made when talking about he's interested in seeing the Miami and Indiana series. That's what's up next. Number 4 seeded. Wait a minute. I'm sitting here looking at something that say number 4 seeded Pacers, number 5 seeded Heat, but I think it's the other way around. I think it's number 4 seeded Heat and number 5 seeded Pacers, unless something has changed. And if something changed, that means my cousin Keith Tate, go check out his book, Black Fatherhood, by the way, awesome author and coach. Then if that's the case, then he owe me $50. But I think that Indy, because we had a little stupid, we're Tates. We came up together. He essentially kind of introduced me to the game of basketball, and he's going to hang that over my head forever. Who taught you how to play the game? Who taught you, bro? Who introduced you to the game? Blah, 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 blah.
Master.
Yeah, that's the Keith Tate way. That's the Tate way. But I said, dude, you talking all of this, but I'm going to take Indy to finish the season and going into the playoffs as a top 4 seed. He said, no, they'll be at the bottom half of the playoffs. So I was thinking I owe him $50 because the Pacers will be a 4 seed. I think they're the 5 seed. You might have to look into that one, Dice, because I don't know why.
I do a fact check right quick, bro. It's kind of, I find that kind of like baffling because, okay, even with the tiebreakers, I think that Miami swept the season series 3-0 over the Pacers.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So, but to your point though,
they did.
Yeah. So Miami should have like the higher seed. I think they won more games than Indiana anyway. But anyway, though, man, I'm like,
yeah,
Go ahead.
I got you. No, I got you. Go ahead.
I just feel like, man, you don't have your boy Sabonis in the mix. I don't think he's going to make the playoffs for Indiana, bro. TJ Warren. He was doing his thing, bro, but he's like a flash in the pan. Like, yeah, he had 53 points. He lit the bubble up when he first got there in the first week, bro. But he showed me a lot of disappointment in that game they played against Miami, bro. I don't know if you recall, but the last time before the bubble game, before Indiana played Miami, like him and like Butler, they got a little mix-up, bro, a little skirmish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I was like circling my calendar, and the next time they played was in the bubble, bro. I don't know if Jimmy Butler like mentally like intimidated TJ Warren or he like defeated him, but TJ Warren did not want any of the smoke, bro. He only had like 15 points or 16 points. And he only had like 3 points in the second half and like maybe 2 shots in the second half. And I'm very disappointed, DT. I used to live in like Durham, North Carolina. Shout out to the RTP. So what I know about like North Carolina dudes, North Carolina hoopers, they're like tough dudes. They're solid dudes. They're not intimidated or anything like that. They're proud. They're very proud, bro. You know what I'm saying? Look at Chris Paul. He's like the epitome of like a North Carolina dude. You know what I'm saying? From North Carolina. So
John Wall.
John Wall, a killer ball for RTP from Raleigh, man. So the fact that I saw Jimmy Butler kind of like mentally like dominate TJ Warren, and this is fresh out TJ Warren leading the bubble and scoring, dropping 50 points and everything. So that showed me a lot right there. I'm like, I don't know if TJ Warren's ready for this Jimmy Butler smoke. So with that said, I'm going with the Heat in 6 games, bro.
Heat in 6 games. I'm gonna go Heat. I'm gonna go Heat in 6 games as well. Okay. By the way, stat and fact check. Indiana Pacers is a 4 seed because they lost 1 game less than the Indiana Pacers. I'm sorry, than the Miami Heat. Exactly. So now that I got that now I'm gonna talk my trash. Keith Tate, I'm calling you out because I need my $50 because if you want to put some wings and some brews on it too, cuz with the interest. What's the interest?
The extra sauce?
Yeah, I need that extra sauce on that guy. Hold the carrots. I need the celery on the side with them wings, bro. All flats, extra crispy, bro. If you take the medium and the lemon pepper and mix those boys in a bowl together, extra crispy, all flats. Hold the carrots. Let me get my celery, ranch, no blue cheese. No, thank you.
Say no more.
Back. Don't come back here don't come up here to the front of the diner with the blue cheese, bro. I'm sending it back to the back, bro. I need that ranch, bro. I need that 50 from Keith Tate, by the way, man. Derek Crush Boys said Eastern Conference Finals, Miami and Milwaukee. I can probably really see that if I'm just being honest. But the problem with that is I don't think that can happen because they would have to play each other in the next round. So that won't happen. Western Conference Finals, Clippers, Nuggets, they're a sleeper for sure. Someone is going to steal. For sure. Yeah, someone's going to steal a series. Just hope the Lakers don't fall because if they do, it's wide open. So I guess I can see. Yeah, and that's the God honest truth, bro. Last but certainly not least, before we run up out of here, I think that this one is a given because you don't have any Jonathan Isaac, you don't have any Mo Bamba. Both of those guys are out to between A, injury, and B, coronavirus complications. So he's outside of the bubble. I think it's going to be a little bit too much for the Orlando Magic. They didn't have to travel very far to get here, and they're not going to have to travel very far to get home. That one I think is going to be a clean sweep, bro, and I'm going to have to go in Milwaukee on that one. But if Milwaukee loses a game, that's going to concern me. To the average person, it won't. But to me, it will because this one needs to be and has to be. Milwaukee is doing themselves a disservice if they don't treat this particular series like it's going to be a sweep because they're not going to sweep anybody else throughout the duration of the playoffs. I'm going to go Milwaukee pulling out the brooms on them boys. What you got, Dice?
I'm the same way too, bro. I have Milwaukee in 4, man. But to your point, if Orlando does miraculously like somehow wins one game, bro, don't be concerned because they did the same thing last year. I think Orlando beat Toronto in the first game, the first round last year. You know what Toronto went on to do, man. So, for these first round tune-ups, bro, I don't have any concerns like the higher seeds, win, lose a game or two, bro. So I don't see that happening, but I definitely see, Milwaukee winning that series, bro. So now listen, who do you have in the conference finals? Are we doing that? We doing that next time? Just doing it round by round? We're gonna do
we're just doing round by round right now. Well, you know what? No, because then folks that's gonna be giving us an opportunity to see who's what,
switch up,
and switch it up at the last minute. No, we're not gonna do that, bro. Let's rock out like this and let's go ahead and give the prediction. I'm gonna go coming out the East.
Give me the conference finals. Give me the conference finals for each one.
Oh, just conference finals.
Well, conference finals, and then who you got coming out of that each conference.
Okay. Conference finals, I'm gonna go Bucks and Celtics. Western Conference Finals, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
Nuggets. Whoa.
Hold on, cuz. Don't be trying to, bruh. Don't be trying. Don't do me, bruh.
Man, your mouth was formulating.
I have to go Clippers on that one.
The Clippers and who though? Who they beating?
Oh, I'm gonna take, bro. Come on, man. Why you put me on the light like that, bro?
I'm just saying, man. I remember a couple weeks ago
I was rolling with the Lakers, but
Lakers and Celtics. You said Lakers and Celtics.
You know what? I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go Lakers and Clippers for Western Conference Finals. Okay. God, that don't feel like it's gonna happen. And then I'm gonna go Bucks and I'm gonna go Celtics, Eastern Conference Finals, and coming up out of that guy, I'm gonna stick to what I said, bro. Forget it. I'm gonna stick with the Lakers and the Celtics, bro.
Now, don't be proud, bro. If you don't feel that way right now, I mean, like I said, if you've been presented with new information, you have the right to, like, you know what I'm saying, change your opinion.
Bro, because I still think that these boys is playing for Kobe. I don't think people really understand. The Lakers, as bad as they look, they're going to be the team that's going to flip the switch like that, and it's not going to be hard to believe to the person who knows, to people who know basketball, because LeBron is the dude that can do that. Yeah. And as much as I still like to think that Kawhi is walking in the same shoes as a LeBron, where it's like he's about to be the one consistently going to the finals now. You know what I'm saying? But when you start talking about Clippers and Lakers, when I think Clippers, I think Detroit Lions, bro. I can't get that out of my head. They are arguably the worst franchise in the history of sports, period, over time. I still have to roll with the Lakers until I'm shown something different, bro. And then I'm still going with Boston. That's going to be tough in that matchup against Toronto. But I think that's when Toronto is going to really start to hurt after losing Kawhi Leonard, and Boston going to step into place. But even those boys is still yet so young, bro. In Milwaukee, they got to be right there. They don't have a choice. They have to be there. I will never touch Milwaukee again.
I'm not touching them right now, bro. And it's so funny. I read a stat recently that said the Clippers win like 82-0 for like the next 10 years. They'll just eventually become like a 50% all-time winning franchise, bro. So to your point about the Clippers being like a sucky team, bro. Like you, I'm going to stick with the my prediction I had a couple months ago, which was Clippers and Raptors, bro. Still going with Clippers and Raptors. So in the Eastern Conference, I had Bucks and Raptors, man, but I'm going to switch that to Boston and Toronto. So I have Toronto beating Boston. I'm going to go 7 games in that one. And then in the Western Conference, I'm going to have Portland versus the Clippers, bro. And I got the Clippers beating Portland.
Okay, then, who you got meeting in the finals?
What I've been saying since March, bro. Clippers and Raptors.
Who coming out?
LA Clippers, bro. They're gonna win the whole thing, man.
I'm hearing folks say the Clippers win the championship, and I just can't quite fix my lips to say it, bro. It's just not making sense to me, bro. Iron Mike Dice, make sure that you check my boy out, man. My dude be doing some phenomenal things. He's busy. But busy is a good thing, man. I'm always grateful. I'm always thankful, always appreciative for my boy coming to join Tate's Take Where Basketball Lives for the Roll the Dice segment. My dude, Iron Mike Dyson. Catch him on Twitter, on the IG, all social media platforms at the Delegate 24. Iron Mike, appreciate it.
No, boy, appreciate it, man.
In a minute. Man, super happy that I got my boy an opportunity to come on with us. And my boy be so busy sometimes, bro. I be having to hunt him down, you know what I'm saying? I call him the president, bro. I'll be having to hunt the president down and try and get the homie in here to talk some basketball. So, man, this is almost going on an hour and a half that we had to kick this thing around for a minute nonetheless. I like to think that it was, again, the most informational, educational, and entertaining basketball content in the form of a podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe if you liked it at Tate's Take Hoops on the Twitter, TATESTAKEHOOPS, all social media platforms, of course, any and everywhere that you find your favorite podcast, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Red Circle, Spotify, the whole 9, and be sure to subscribe also to Tate's Take, the podcast. Appreciate everybody. We're going to bring in some more guests coming up next week. You never know who you're going to get. We don't have Dice on here. He's regular. He acting a fool right now, looking like Mike Epps. We had Jay Billis on. We had Jared Greenberg on. There's been big news that came down in the Big Ten. We had Michael DeCourcy on talking some football and basketball. I mean, we got so many good. We got people. Sekou Smith is coming up. We got some awesome people. Sean Powell's coming up. We got awesome people coming up on the pod. You never really know what you're going to get when you come across it outside of the best content, basketball content in the form of a podcast. Keep it locked with your eyes and your ears open to Tate's Take the podcast where basketball lives. Appreciate everybody for being able to check it out. For those checking it out right now, you're a little late to it, whatever the case may be. You're checking it out now, you're checking it out later. Facebook, And certainly want to make sure I mention this because I always try to do my best to do this. Derek Crush Boy chiming in with us, Rob Hamilton, VP, Mel B, Daniel Artest checking in, saying, yo, let's get it. Appreciate everybody for chiming in, and looking forward to doing another one of these within the next few days or so, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Appreciate.